This week marks 1 year since the shooting at Oxford High School that took the lives of 4 innocent students, injured 8 others, and forever changed the trajectory of the lives of everyone in the close-knit community of Oxford and surrounding areas. A year ago this week, Madison Baldwin, Tate Meir, Justin Schilling, and Hannah St. Juliana were taken from us far too soon. Although a year has passed, for the families of Oxford, their journey of healing remains a long one. It's been said that grief has a starting point but no end. Since that day, I've spent many hours in Oxford, and I can tell you that grief takes many forms. Grief looks like funerals packed with teenagers, like students too traumatized to go back to school in person. It looks like mothers and fathers confused and scared about how to parent, and elected officials trying to figure out how to lead. But sometimes grief can look like kindness, and we have certainly seen so much of that in Oxford over the past year as families across the country have lifted this community up again and again. We saw school leaders on the other side of my congressional district in Brighton and other areas 40 miles away drive to bring their therapy dogs to Oxford for weeks on end, and eventually helping to raise the funds for Oxford to have their own 4-legged therapists. A friend of mine, an Oxford parent who was close to one of the students who was killed, has become one of the ways that I've understood what's gone on in the community in the past year. Despite the hole in her own heart as an Oxford parent, she makes sure everyone impacted by the tragedy gets the resources that they need. From the depths of her own grief and the grief of her children, she personifies the phrase random acts of kindness, and she reached out to the neighbors, friends, and children of Oxford schools, anyone who might need a hug, a friendly note, or even a surprise gift from a stranger. She and so many other students and parents reached out to help others, even strangers. Sometimes grief looks like action and advocacy, like when students at Oxford High staged a walkout to demand better gun safety laws, or through the safe gun storage legislation that State Senator Rosemary Baer has led in Michigan as a companion bill to my own. And grief finally did what many thought wasn't possible. It brought Congress together to pass the first package of gun violence prevention measures in decades. I want to thank everyone who has lifted this town up over the last year. I continue to be amazed by the bravery and the resilience of Oxford High School students and staff and our first responders who rushed into the school that day, including the sheriff's office, fire departments that came from near and far, the Oakland County Emergency Management Office, leaders in Oxford, Orion, and Brandon townships, as well as the hundreds of local businesses and individuals who have raised funds to support the families of victims in so many ways. I want to thank everyone who has donated to help with the recovery effort in Oxford, everyone who has said a prayer for the shattered community, and everyone who has taken concrete steps towards a safer future after witnessing Oxford's pain. In just a few weeks' time, I will be representing a new district that unfortunately doesn't include Oxford or North Oakland County. But the community has my word. I will carry this grief, your stories, and our experience in Oxford over the last year in my heart forever. I will not put it down because we need to keep moving forward. For Hannah, for Tate, Justin, Madison, for all of Oxford and every student who deserves to go to school in safety, and for every parent who deserves to know that their child will come home at the end of the day. It's been my honor to represent this community, and the residents of Oxford always have an open door with myself and my team.